Hello, my friends, and welcome to TruthBomb, the quick-fire quiz show where I test the best the indie media has to offer on AI's official narrative with a truth bomb or two thrown in. I have convinced some of the best indie researchers, journalists, and hosts in the World Wide Web to compete against each other in a quiz show which will shake the very foundations of mankind. AI sets the official narrative, but there will be plenty of occasions for each contestant to throw his truth bomb in to set the record straight and for a chance to win extra points, but I will be the judge of that. Our contestants today include Graham H. Moore, known on the streets of southeast England as the indisputable scourge of Parliament. It's Daddy Dragon himself, Graham H. Moore, the main man of the English Constitutional Society and an expert in English constitutional law. Don't mess with Daddy Dragon or you shall be crushed. Graham H. Moore, my friend, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very pleased to be here, and thanks for inviting me on.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you. You're a man with a lot of knowledge. Now, for the Americans in the crowd, can you explain why the British suck balls while the Welsh, English, and Scottish are top dog?
Can I explain? Well, the direct answer is to look at it in the same way as the USSR. The British is a political union. It isn't a nationality. It's a political union, and in effect, an oligarch that is of the ruling classes that control and have taken control. We are what's known, the English, the Welsh, the Scots and the Irish are what's known as captive nations, which, by the way, in America is coming up in July. And I've already wrote a letter to the White House for assistance. So Britain is an island, and the reason it was named Great is because it contained three nations. So that's the basis of it.
So do you think King Charles III would like what you have to say to him?
Definitely not. King Charles III has perjured his oath. Kings in the past who have perjured their oaths, some have lost their heads.
Indeed they have. Indeed they have. That may happen again probably sometime soon. How do you feel about taking on a man today who has the name of a Pierce Brosnan era Bond villain?
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Good. And Graham H. Moore will be taking on Basil Valentine. The elusive Basil Valentine is currently hosting the Basil Valentine Show on The Pulse today, where he tackles politics, current events, and conspiracy only like a true English gentleman would. Mr. Valentine, how are you?
I've been better, as you know, Johnny, but I'm glad to be here and looking forward to all the fun and games.
Good. Is Graham H. Moore like the double agent you've always wanted to use shark-mounted lasers to murder horrifically?
No, absolutely not. He sounds like a very sound man, to be honest.
Okay.
I'll give you one quick vignette about the security services. A friend of mine from Cambridge University got first in King's and was contacted by the security services to see if he wanted to go and work for them. I was very disappointed they didn't tap me up, but I think that might have been because I was involved in the labor organization, and more importantly was a subscriber to Soviet Weekly, if you can remember that, back in the early 1980s, the Soviet newspaper.
Bit early for me. I was just a nipper. If my dad had handed me the Soviet Weekly, I wouldn't be surprised because he was a steel worker, used to march alongside Scargill back in the days. So I wouldn't be surprised if he would.
I'm talking about the early mid-80s, you know.
Yeah. That's when I was a kid. When I was a little tiny nipper.
Anyway,
sitting there in my nappy reading the Socialist Worker.
Right. Well, anyway, my friend Gareth went along to a meeting in Whitehall with a representative of MI5, whose name was Mr. Halliday. And they liked Gareth at the interview, obviously, because they asked him back for a second interview. And Mr. Halliday saw him again, except it was a different person.
That's just that's exactly what they do, isn't it? That's exactly what they do. Have you ever, when you're wearing your glasses, has anyone ever described you as the real life Aloysius Nosy Parker, as in Parker from Thunderbirds at all? Get a bit
No,
of that?
no, I
No?
don't. You're the first to ever mention that. I'm pleased to say, and
No.
you will be the last, Johnny.
Have you ever been strung along by a woman?
When we all,
Indeed. What scares you most about being beaten to death by a rabid daddy dragon then?
not quite ready to die just yet.
Okay. But you are ready to rumble. Welcome to the Wall of Dystopia. This round would be a bog standard true or false round if it wasn't for AI's constant lies. Sometimes it tells you the truth, and sometimes it spends the entire week convincing you that the moon landings were real. It's the contestants' jobs to set the record straight if they think it needs to be, but also to guess what AI wants you to believe on behalf of their nefarious establishment masters. First up is Graham this time. Graham, please, can you choose a subject from the Wall of Dystopia? You can pick from the Glorious Revolution, the Blair government, Brexit, 7/7 bombing, Kroll Inc., and Jesus was a Jew.
Oh, that's a good one. So
oh, that's a good one. Oh, I've not heard that one before.
so we'll go with Glorious Revolution.
Excellent. Graham H. Moore on the Glorious Revolution. Excellent, Mr. Moore. Welcome to this true and false round, the first round on this new truth bomb. Of course, I'm going to ask you 18 true or false questions about the Glorious Revolution, and after every question you can choose to add in a truth bomb to earn extra points if you have more information or a little bit of a tiny bit more than a factoid is what we need. Anyway, here we go. King James II was a Protestant monarch. True or false?
False.
False. Okay, excellent. Of course, he was a Catholic. Caused a lot of tension in Protestant England. William of Orange was invited to invade England by a group of English nobles.
True.
That is correct.
And can I just say he was also...
You just say truth bomb.
Truth bomb.
There you go. I like it.
He landed on the 5th of November 1688 in Brixham in Devon, and his name was the Prince of Orange. And just remember who was elected on the 5th of November 2024 and is called Orange Man Bad, President Trump.
That is an excellent truth bomb point there to be earned by you. Well done. Mary II was the daughter of James II. True. You know your biscuits, indeed. And she was James II's daughter from first marriage, of course. The Bill of Rights, 1689, was a key outcome of the Glorious Revolution.
True. But it was part of a trilogy. So Truth Bomb, it was part of a trilogy, and people need to remember that. You have the Declaration of Reasons, which basically explained the whole situation, and then you had the Declaration of Rights, which is crucially important because it's the contract, the original contract, and then from that and another process, you had from the Convention Parliament the English Bill of Rights. So remember, it was part of a trilogy, and it's the trilogy that gives us, the people, the power. The English, in fact, anyone in a Commonwealth nation, that includes Wales, England, Scotland, and technically Ireland as well, but also New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and it's still used as a common law jurisdiction in America.
Excellent. Good truth bomb point in there. And we all know how trilogies lead to power. The power of the dark side. Anyway, James II fled to Spain after being deposed. True or false?
False.
Oh, go on. Do you know? You're correct. It is false. You want to add to that?
So the important part is that he actually fled to France. He was. This is the truth bomb. He actually took the English seal, the Great Seal of England, and threw it in the Thames. He rode off down the River Thames, right, trying to panic and get away from everyone because they thought he was going to chop his head off. And when he got down to the Kent coast, they caught him and said, "You want me to send him back?" And the English said, "No, let him go. We're not interested in him. Just let him go." And they ended up sending him across to Europe, which is basically where he belonged. But there's another big truth bomb here.
You might want to save it for another one of the questions, but go on.
Well, I'll do the truth bomb anyway because people don't understand the significance of Dover, right? What led to the Glorious Revolution was a secret treaty, and no one ever talks about this. And it was called the Dover Treaty of 1670, which actually led to the Glorious Revolution, where the king had conspired with the French to take over England as a Catholic nation. So just remember, there was a lot going on, and it was a secret treaty that didn't come out till 100 years later.
Well, you were correct to say it was false. He did flee to France. Quite right. All of that extra truth bomb on top. Fantastic. An extra point there. The Glorious Revolution marked the end of absolute monarchy in England.
True.
Yeah, good. Did. If
truth bomb.
Go on.
Go on. The truth bomb here is it didn't start the process of Parliament being sovereign. It ensured separation of powers, which is now being ignored, and Parliament has taken complete control like a Politburo. So if ever anyone understands the term of the Star Chamber, that is basically what Parliament has become.
Excellent. Okay, one for the correct answer and one for the truth bomb too. You're doing very well here, Graham. Queen Anne led the opposition against James II.
False. If I understand it correctly.
Correct. You're right. It is false. You could say anything to it. But Anne was James II's daughter, supported William and Mary, but did not lead any opposition against him. Okay, next one. The Glorious Revolution only affected England, not Scotland or Ireland.
False.
Okay, false. You're correct. That's true. Oh, it is false even. That's a point for that. Did actually have an effect on impacts on Scotland, led to conflict in Ireland, of course, with the Williamite War, which is in the name that it had a bit of an effect. William III landed in England with an army of 50,000 men.
I can't remember the figure exactly. I'd like to say that's true, but I can't remember what the exact figure was.
So what are you going to say?
Oh, I'd have to say false.
You're correct. His force was about 15 to 20,000 men when he landed at Torbay. The Toleration Act of 1689 granted freedom to worship to all Christians.
True. No.
It's too late. You've answered. Yeah, it's a false, I'm afraid. It granted rights
it's a false on the year. Yeah.
No, it granted rights to Protestant nonconformists, but excluded Catholics.
Okay.
Catholics, you know they're troublemakers. Right. The revolution, the revolution was entirely supported by the English population.
That's a difficult one. I would say false.
Okay, you're correct. False it is. There were Jacobite supporters loyal to James II, especially in Scotland. Right. Louis XIV of France supported William III's invasion.
False.
Yes, false indeed. He was an ally of James II, opposed William. Those French. The revolution led to the Act of Settlement in 1701.
Absolutely true. Truth bomb.
Correct. Here we go. Yeah, go on.
And
lay it on me thick, Graham. Come on, I'm ready for you.
The truth bomb of the Act of Settlement was furthering the rights, and one of the things that people don't realise about the Act of Settlement is it actually spelled out that you could not have any position of power, authority, be a member of Parliament or the House of Lords unless you were born of English parents. And the reason they brought that out was because whilst the Prince of Orange or King William was a great Protestant king, he was also shipping in his pals from Holland and taking up positions of profit and having control of England that people didn't like. So there is a permanent constitutional element to stop that from happening. And also the Acts of Settlement went further at chapter 4 and said that the laws of England are the birthright of an Englishman.
Excellent. Okay, one for getting it correct, one for that brilliant descriptive truth bomb. We love a bit of this. We love to learn. You got 5 questions left in this round. James II attempted to reclaim the throne after 1689.
True.
True, yeah. He tried via the Battle of the Boyne in 1690, but was not successful. Okay. The Glorious Revolution had no impact on the American colonies.
False.
Correct? False? Do you know how it? Any examples of how it influenced America?
There was a number of ways it showed that. So the largest truth bomb of the influence for America is virtually all of their constitution comes from England and from the Glorious Revolution. Their Second Amendment, for example, comes from the English Bill of Rights, which was an existing right to keep and bear arms, and is still current in England and America to this day, even though the British have tried to infringe upon our right to keep and bear arms. So the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, believe it or not, also comes from England. Virtually every element of the American Constitution comes from England. And what the American audience generally don't realise, we're not talking about the British. The British didn't exist until 1706, 1707, and the nationality, which they forced upon us, didn't exist until 1947 and 1981.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, so I'll give you one for the correct answer, one for the truth bomb. 3 questions left. William III was a direct descendant of Charles I.
Oh, now we're getting into who's shagging who.
Which is what we want to really think about.
It's the inbreeding side of it that always throws me with these. That's why I say to people, I'm not a historian. I'm not like David Starkey. I'm not into who's shagging who. So I would say a true.
Yeah, true. It is true. He was Charles I's grandson via his mother, Princess Mary. The event inspired the French Revolution a century later.
I would say it's a true, but it was they were different groups of people. Yeah.
Okay. AI has specifically said false. While influential, the French Revolution had distinct causes and was more radical, which is kind of what you said there. But unfortunately, I am going by you're answering the official narrative and then adding truth bombs on top. And last question: the Glorious Revolution is considered a turning point in British constitutional history.
Say that again.
The Glorious Revolution is considered a turning point in British constitutional history.
True. And the truth bomb for this is that even the English Bill of Rights makes reference to our ancestors in times past. So it acknowledges previous revolutions. For example, the Magna Carta, which basically was also a trilogy event. In other words, there were certain sections that backed up the Magna Carta, but people must remember that in England we have had other events like the Peasants' Revolt, etc. So we've always been there. We've never allowed people, particularly the oligarchs or the feudal lords, etc., to take the piss out of us for too much. Sooner or later, we'll stand up and say it ain't happening.
Yep, excellent. Okay, right. And just at the end here, you get a point there for correct, point there for a truth bomb. But the last bit is, do you have any truth bomb about the Glorious Revolution that people won't know that you think is really relevant?
I'd go back to so truth bombs in so obviously there was in America you had the 4th of July. I think that everything is linked and linking back to the Glorious Revolution. As I said, with the Prince of Orange and King William coming here, the Orange Man was good. He was invited. There were 3,000 of our people in Holland who were lobbying him to come here and take back control of the Protestant nation, because we were being victimized and persecuted as Protestant Christians. So people need to remember there is a link going back at the moment. If you think about the 4th of July and Independence Day, you think about the election in this country, meaning England, which was on the 4th of July. There is a significant of events, and then think about Orange Man bad, as people talk about President Trump, and that he was elected on the 5th of November 2024, and then think of King William actually, or the Prince of Orange landing in Brixham in Devon on the 5th of November 1688. So is there a link? And could AI ever tell you about them links? I doubt it, but people that understand the history understand that there is something strange going on.
There's a little bit of a secret society vibe hanging out behind the scenes. Excellent round, Graham H. Moore. Okay, then, Basil Valentine, here you go. You've got the wall of dystopia here. You've still got Brexit, Kroll Inc., the Blair government, 7/7 bombings, and Jesus was a Jew. Which one do you think you want to go for?
I'll take the Blair government. Yeah, I was never a fan, but
Right, Basil. 18 true or false questions about the Blair government. Add in truth bombs at any time. Remember, this is AI. So sometimes the reasoning is mad and sometimes it doesn't make sense. Okay, I will warn you of that before.
So basically I need to give an answer that's in keeping with the official version of events for the most part.
To an extent, but remember, AI is also batshit crazy. But you will be able to add a truth bomb, so you'll be able to set the record straight afterwards. So, first question.
Okay.
Blair was the youngest prime minister of the 20th century when he took office.
The 20th century. Yeah, I'll give that a true.
Now, I would have given that a true as well. And this is part of the reason why I warned you. Unfortunately, it's false. AI has said Blair was 43, but John F. Kennedy technically not a prime minister.
Yeah, well,
And others
I mean,
were younger in the UK context. He wasn't the youngest. Pitt the younger was 24, they say.
but that's not the 20th century. Pitt the Younger was the 18th century.
I know. Well, it's AI. What can we do? Okay, the second one should be easier on you. The Good Friday Agreement, a major peace deal in Northern Ireland, was signed in 1998 during Blair's premiership.
True.
Signed on the 10th of April 1998. Remember, you can add any truth bombs about the Good Friday Agreement if you so do want.
Mo Molam did a great job,
No, that's just a bit of a opinion or factoid. A truth bomb's got to be something that someone doesn't really know. Okay, next one. Blair introduced the national minimum wage in the UK in 1999.
True,
yes. Yes, the old national minimum wage. Okay, this one. Margaret Beckett became the UK's first female foreign secretary under Blair.
I'll give that a true.
Yeah, true. She took a role in May 2006, serving until Blair's exit, so only at the end. Patricia Hewitt resigned from Blair's cabinet in 2005 over NHS funding issues.
I'll go true.
No, it's a false, I'm afraid. Hewitt remained as health secretary until Blair's departure in 2007. Blair's government abolished hereditary peers' right to sit in the House of Lords entirely.
No, I think there are still some hereditary peers in the House of Lords. They should cut the numbers right down.
Okay, well, do you want to add that in? Are you saying false? You have to.
I'm saying false.
Are you adding a truth bomb?
Truth bomb is that the number of hereditary peers that sit in the House of Lords was drastically reduced from all of them to a number that I don't immediately have to hand, but there's still some hereditary peers in the House of Lords.
That's more like it. Yeah, you get correct. It was false and correct. The hereditary peers were reduced in 1999, but not abolished entirely, and some remain. Okay, next one. Alistair Darling was Blair's transport secretary before becoming chancellor under Gordon Brown.
False. He was chief secretary to the Treasury.
No, he was. It's true. Darling was transport secretary under Blair, then chancellor.
What can you do?
What can you do?
There should be a where are they now section.
You could tell me anything about Alistair Darling if you want. Any nasty, pernicious information will do. I didn't like him much. Those big eyebrows.
No, except that I think he might be dead.
Oh, well. Sorry to laugh at that. I didn't mean
Yes,
to.
I'm right. I'm right. He did. He died a couple of years ago. So there you go.
Okay, there you go. Hey, stop! You're not allowed to look at anything online. Yeah, I hope you're not looking at answers
I was just
online.
Confirming my statement.
Yeah. There's no. Listen, you gotta. There's no search engines during this game, my friend. That's naughty. But okay, I'll give you an extra one for confirming that he's dead, and brightening my day in that way. Blair won 3 consecutive general elections as Labour leader.
Let's think. 97, 2001. I believe he did, yes.
Yes, true. 97, 2001, and 2005. Blair's government increased NHS funding significantly during his tenure.
True,
yes. NHS spending rose significantly under Blair. Doesn't make him a nice person, though.
No.
It makes him run in the country into the ground so they can do what they want with it afterwards. Yeah. Frank Dobson stood as Labour candidate for London Mayor in 2000 while in Blair's cabinet.
True.
Oh, false. Dobson left the cabinet health secretary in 1999 to run, losing to Kane Livingstone. So it's a bit of a trick question, to be honest. A little bit. This nasty, it's naughty. Blair resigned as Prime Minister in 2008 after pressure from his party.
True.
Oh, it's another tricky one. He resigned in 2007, not 2008. Another one. Oh, this hasn't been nice to you. It's not been sparing. Blair's government introduced tuition fees for university students in England in 1998.
True.
True. It was introduced in 1998 under the Teaching and Higher Education Act. Blair faced significant protests over the Iraq War in 2003, including a million-strong march in London.
Well, it was, people say it was 2 million strong, but true,
True.
That's my
true.
truth bomb. It's more like 2 million, not 1 million.
More about 2 million. Do you want to add in anything about the Iraq War there and Blair?
Well, I mean, he should have gone to jail. Simple as that. It's where he should be still,
What do you think he should have gone to jail for? If you give me a good one, I'll give you a truth bomb.
Well, the invasion was completely illegal. And he also lied to the British public about the weapons of mass destruction and lied to numerous members of parliament. Trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. Bollocks. He's lying through his teeth.
That's good. You get a truth bomb point there. So what do you think should have been his what do you think should have been his sentence if he was found guilty?
Life.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have given you an extra truth bomb point for. Anyway, let's go on. Claire Short stayed in Blair's cabinet throughout the Iraq War despite her opposition to it.
False. She resigned.
Yeah, she resigned. Do you remember what she was working as at the time?
Overseas Development Secretary.
Ooh, International Development Secretary. I'll give you an extra point there because that's a good bit of testing. John Prescott was Blair's deputy prime minister and punched a protester during the 2001 election campaign.
True.
No, it was brilliant. On May 16th, 2001, Prescott famously punched a man. Now, I'm going to ask you if you could gain an extra point there. If you could tell me what he threw at John Prescott or where in the country he was when he threw it.
Oh, now you're asking a question. I know Prescott was the MP for Hull, and I think it was somewhere up like that. Actually, I'll go. It was in Manchester, and it was an item of food or drink, but I don't remember exactly what. My memory's
I'm not going to
clouded
give
by
you a point there.
Milking incidents. Go on.
He threw an egg at him, and it was in Rhyl, Wales. Of course, it was in Rhyl. That's the weapon of choice in Rhyl. It's why they've been dominated for many, many years. The fox hunting ban in England and Wales was enacted in 2004 during Blair's premiership.
True.
True, yes. Hunting Act 2004 banned hunting with dogs, of course. Any truth bombs to add about fox hunting?
Well, I believe some people say it still carries on surreptitiously. They still have the hunt meets and the packs of hounds and all the rest of it, except these days they're supposed to only follow a scent, follow a trail, but who knows?
Follow a trail, I know. What does that mean? Okay. I'll give you an extra point for saying that. I'll give you. I'm going to be kind. I'm kind person. Kind. The Kyoto Protocol, there's only two left here. The Kyoto Protocol on climate change was ratified by the UK in 2002 under Blair.
True.
Yes, it was. It was negotiated earlier, but it was definitely ratified in 2000. And last one here. Blair met with US President George W. Bush more than any other world leader during his tenure.
Undoubtedly true.
Undoubtedly true. He met him more than he met Sherry Blair. There you go. That's true.
Right. I know there is a little truth from. Do you remember Bush? Who I always thought was a sort of rather reluctant president of the United States. It didn't really seem interested or equipped for the job at all. These people are often inserted into the White House like Joe Biden, when they're actually, by no means the popular choice of the American public and ill-equipped for the job. But Bush, of course, came out with that famous "Yo, Blair." Do you remember that at one summit? Tony
Oh,
Blair approached him, and Bush turned around and went, "Yo, Blair," which isn't the usual protocol.
no, it's not. It has made me chuckle, so that's an extra point for sure. Have you got any final truth bomb now at the end of that round about the Blair government? Something that it reveals something about them?
Yes, I've got a big one. It's a truth atomic bomb, Johnny.
Oh, that might be a 2 or 3 pointer. Go on, then. Give it. You're promising, though. You're promising.
It would have been the Smith government had John Smith not been assassinated to make way for the wholly owned Blair, who was recruited by MI5 when he was at Oxford, as testified by our very own whistleblower. Who am I thinking of? David Shaler, of course, said he saw Blair's file when he was working at MI5 and that he was recruited when he was at Oxford, rather like my friend Gareth wasn't recruited. And personally, well, I can't prove it, of course, I believe John Smith was assassinated because he was a genuine, decent human being. And you can't have one of those in number 10, can you now?
No, I will quote John Smith here when he heard about this centrist Bill Clinton third way politics from the likes of Blair and Brown, who were young, and coming over and saying, we should do this new type of centrist stuff that was about purging the left and austerity and war to replace anything
the birth
else.
of neoliberalism.
Yeah, John Smith said, I'll have none of that fucking Clinton stuff over here. Thank you. So
That's
I
right.
love
And
the
in
man.
saying so, signed his own death warrant.
Yep. So I will give you 3 points for that atomic truth bomb. That is excellent. Brilliant. And after the Wall of Dystopia, Graham has scored 16 points, 8 truth bombs, and no corruption points at all. He scored 24. Basil scored 13 normal points, 6 truth bombs, and 4 extra, totaling 23. The scores are 24-23. Excellent. Ooh. How was that round for you, Daddy Dragon? Do you think you can brush Basil aside as though he was a foxy hand puppet, or will you show him a red card sans love hearts?
I'd say the red card and love hearts. Seeing as he's just spoke about one of my favourite, well, when I say one of my favourite people, John Smith, what I just listened to there. It's funny that they call me far right when I actually align with the old Labour Party. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It is. It's nuts, isn't it? I understand that. I understand that. Unfortunately, that red card you handed, Basil, was sans love hearts, without love hearts. So there you go. You're a heartless man, giving him heartless. That's good. That's good. It wins you points. What's better, a Catholic monarchy or a selection of guillotines and gallows?
Selection of guillotines.
Okay, I thought you'd say that one. So, what are some of the most serious misconceptions, do you think, about the Glorious Revolution and that period and our political history that you think the audience at home should know? And there will be a truth bomb point or two available. Or something good?
I would say, yeah, the Glorious Revolution was definitely a good thing. Because we was being oppressed and suppressed, meaning the Protestant English. The biggest misconception, and it's been created by the British, is that Parliament is sovereign when it isn't. There is a separation of powers. It's just that the monarchy is corrupt now, the judiciary is corrupt, and Parliament is corrupt, and it's all controlled like a Politburo. And also the biggest misconception is that we was invaded. That is completely untrue. There was an invite to the king. And the other misconception is that it was some form of attack on Scotland, which it most definitely wasn't. In fact, the Scots were being oppressed and suppressed just as much as what the English were. And again, the claim of right of 1689 was extended to Scotland. And I think all of that there's a big misconception about what the Glorious Revolution was, and it gives the power really back to not to the good people, and that's the main thing, really. I mean, there are other elements to it. If I went into detail about the Catholic side of it, because
let's not talk about the Catholics here, shall we? No, this is a very Protestant episode of Truth Bomb for some reason. I didn't mean to be so racist towards the Catholic, but racist, well, prejudiced towards the Catholics, but they do it to themselves. Basil, that was ended up being an all right round for you, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I dug myself out of a bit of a hole. I mean, things like the Blair youngest prime minister question and reference it, that was all nonsense,
Yeah, but that's AI. That's AI. AI gives you nonsense. We asked about the prime minister of Great Britain, and it says, "Oh no, the youngest was JFK." So I mean, what can you do? It's programmed by people who are idiots, and so you're going to get what you get out. So I suppose you've had so many mentions of Valentine's Day massacres and references to it throughout your life, have you?
Well, actually, my Valentine, Basil Valentine, is a 15th century German alchemist. Has nothing to do with either the 14th of February or Chicago mobsters. On the contrary, we are concerned with the transmutation of matter and the ultimate questions, Johnny.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give you an extra point there as well. That was a really good one. I can already see my scorer in the corner putting his thumbs up. What do you think of your opponent? Remember, divisive answers are rewarded kindly.
Divisive answers?
Yes.
Well, I was very clear. I concur with what he said about this isn't divisive, but it's the opposite, about how the Labour Party has turned inside out over the last 25, 30 years or something like that. We now have, I personally think that there's an authoritarian globalist warmonger party who pose as centrists, and we have this on both sides of it. I think particularly in Europe, the likes of von der Leyen and Starmer, who masquerade as moderates. I would actually call them the chief drivers of the road to global fascism. And ironically, both the genuine left, the old social democratic left, genuine liberals, not neoliberals, and genuine British nationalists all have far more common cause than they realize, and should unite against the warmongers and globalists who want to this nonsense about a war economy. Now it's just the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard in my life. Deeply depressing. Really.
You're gonna get an extra 2 points for that as a truth bomb. That was no. We live in a centrist third way world where third way politics has been forced upon us. You're quite right. It's a disgusting reality, but it's one that we do face, and that was awesome. Welcome to a new round on Truth Bomb. We're going to play wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank. Indeed, in this round, I will give you an infamous quote by an infamous person. However, I will replace one word in the quote with the word wank. All you have to do is guess the missing word. If you get the answer wrong, then the opportunity to answer will be handed over to your opponent. Alongside the quote, our contestants will be able to see a picture of the person behind the famous phrase, being driven mad into the mouth of madness by Cthulhu himself. You can gain extra points for identifying the author of the quote, but only if you correctly guess the missing word. You can only score points for a truth bomb if you answered correctly. So let me say, in this round, we'll alternate and Basil will go first. Are you ready, gentlemen, to play Wankety Wank?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you are. Okay, here we go. We start off with this. Here's a quote. Think of the press as a giant keyboard on which the government can wank.
Okay,
Go
you want
on,
the
Basil.
name of the? Do you want the name of the person?
No, I want the missing word. Think
Right.
of the famous quote. Think of the press. Just like I'm sure you know this game is probably based on blankety blank. I'm sure you saw that when you were younger.
Donkeys years ago. My God.
Think of the
Thank
press
you.
as a great keyboard on which the government can wank.
Right. WRITE.
No, that's not the correct answer. I'll hand it over to Graham. Graham?
I'd say lie.
Oh, neither of you wrong. It's Joseph Goebbels. Neither of you will have a chance to tell me that Joseph Goebbels is currently being made mad by Cthulhu himself. The answer is, think of the press as a great keyboard on which the government can play.
Ah.
They wouldn't have had computers back then.
They wouldn't have had computers back then. No,
A
exactly,
keyboard would have meant literally a keyboard.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. Keep your wits about you. Over to you now, Graham, for this one. We're alternating. So there you go. You wank if you want to. The lady's not for wanking.
Oh, I don't know.
Hand's gone up. The buzzer's gone.
You have to wait. You have to
State of
wait
the
for him to
century
get
rules.
it wrong. You
No,
have to
go
wait.
on.
You wank if you want to. The lady. Give me any word.
It's Graham's
Turning.
Oh, he scores the point there. He manages to get it. Basil was desperate to steal, but it's not been that way on this occasion, Basil. Can you tell me, Graham, for the extra point, who is being driven into the mouth of madness by Cthulhu himself?
Margaret Thatcher, not my favourite person. Go on.
Okay, you can add a truth bomb about Margaret Thatcher if you want for another point again.
Margaret Thatcher was actually for the European Union, not against it originally, and I believe the whole thing against us, and except certainly with Brexit, has been played.
I couldn't agree more. Excellent. You get an extra point. Okay. This one goes to Basil this time.
I've just got a little bit more about the quote, Johnny.
Okay. Unfortunately, you can't gain the truth bomb point unless it's amazing at this stage, because you have to guess it, be the one to guess it right. But go on. Give us a free one.
Well, the quote comes from the 1981 Conservative Party conference. Thatcher had introduced monetarism in Britain for the first time. It was having a disastrous effect on British industry. Good. She was being urged to reverse course and stop the decimation of the economy, and she came out with that quote.
Oh, I'm going to give you an extra point anyway, because that was such a good rundown. See, there you go. You did well. You did well in the end. Okay, this one goes across now to Basil. Go.
Okay. I can still see Thatcher, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
there we are, Richard M. Nixon.
It will change. It will change. Well, you can get a point for that, but you shouldn't probably say it out loud, because it could end up being handed over anyway, even though.
You haven't told me what the quote is yet, but I'm
so you got to hold off. Hold off. You got to play the game, Basil. You got to play the game. Calm down. Here you go. Listen, you gotta get it. When the president wanks, that means it's not illegal. When the president wanks it, that means it's not illegal.
When the president says it, that means it's not illegal.
No, unfortunately, handed across to Graham H. Moore.
When the say the quote again.
When the president wanks it, that means it is not illegal.
Authorizes.
No, I
Neither
know
of
what
you
it is.
get it.
When the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
Yes, indeed.
I thought that you were teeing us up for there can be no wanking at the White House.
No, you get.
There can be no whitewash at the White House.
Yeah, well, you can't make up your. Listen, if you want to write this game yourself, you can help me always. I don't mind. I don't mind a little bit of help. Right, okay. This goes across to Graham H. Moore. We're alternating, so it's you to go first, I believe, this time. So, here you go. To err is human, to wank divine.
It is human.
Keep saying to wank divine.
I don't know. I'd say love.
No, unfortunately, handed across to Basil. Do you know?
To err is human, to forgive divine.
Oh, that's very good. I hope you're not using your search engine, young man, for any of that. That's good. Do you know who said it?
I'll go with Voltaire, but I'm not sure.
Voltaire.
No, you get 1 point for the correct day. It's actually Alexander Pope who is being driven mad by Cthulhu himself there. Okay, next one. Here you go. This goes across to, is it Basil to choose first this time, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here you go.
Oh, my goodness me.
Driven mad by Cthulhu himself. If you judge people, you have no time to wank them.
Help them.
No, I'll hand it across to Graham H. Moore. If you judge people, you have no time to wank them.
This word wank is really getting in the way of my thinking for this quote, you know, with this person up on the screen as well.
The mind it goes into. It's the mind it goes into.
I've got no idea.
Love. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. Okay, here you go. Graham H. Moore up first on this one. Here we go. Next one coming up. Fashion is a form of ugliness so intolerable that we have to wank it every 6 months. This is a hard one, though, just to say.
Fashion is so intolerable. Got no idea.
We have to wank
parade it.
No. Basil, do you want to give it a go?
I'll go with change. We have to change it.
This is a hard one. It's actually alter, which is... Okay, Basil, this one's for you first. Here we go. A man who does... You got to play the game, Basil. There's an order to this, my friend. This is the system.
Okay, sorry.
The man who does not wank has no advantage over the man who cannot wank.
Think.
No, handing it over to Graham H. Moore.
Read.
Oh, he gets it as well. Adam, can you tell me who that is now that it's already been shouted out by your opponent? Graham? Oh, you didn't hear him say it, did you?
Say again?
You didn't hear Basil say who it was?
Is it Einstein?
No, it's Mark Twain.
Oh,
it's
Mark Twain.
Twain.
Mark Twain. Okay.
So there you go.
You with him?
Yeah, you get that is an actual real picture of him being driven mad by Cthulhu himself. It's real. It's taken by a Polaroid, and they've done it up. Right, and one last one. This is for you now, Graham. The world must learn to wank together, or finally it will not wank at all.
Work.
Yes, well done. Do you know who? Oh, wait, I didn't actually bring up the picture to help you. Help you along. Do you know who it was?
No.
No, that's Dwight D. Eisenhower. But there you go. You get a point for that. That's perfect.
But he's got bunny rabbit ears on him.
He does have bunny rabbit ears on him.
So he's the white rabbit.
We all have bunny rabbit ears on us. And in that round, Graham scored 3 points, 2 truth bombs, 1 extra points, 1 love heart for sending Basil Valentine's day card, and Basil scored 1 point, 4 extra points, an extra point for Basil's boyish enthusiasm and making up his own game. Graham scored 7, Basil scored 5. After 2 rounds, Graham is on 31 or 32, I can't read that, and Basil is on 28. So, Basil, how much wankety wank do you think you could play before you go blind?
My days of that are over, Johnny. That's all I can say. I'm 60.
What are your favourite games besides Truth Bomb, of course? What other things do you play?
Do you mean TV games, board games?
Anything. What's your weapon?
My weapon.
Yeah, your game of choice. I'm a Risk man.
I played for. Oh right. I used to like Risk. I played Monopoly for the first time in decades recently, and I would have won if my opponents hadn't ganged up on me. You know. Oh. I used to like another military strategy game called Campaign. I don't know if you remember that from back in the 80s. But my favorite was an election. Being politically mad, my favorite was an election game called Election X, and everybody had chose a political party, and you covered the map of Great Britain with little coloured squares for your party. I played it over and over again. I can't remember anything about it much, but that Election X.
Yeah, it does sound like something you'd be playing. It sounds. I love it. I love a bit of it. I was an Axis and Allies fan myself. Is one of the only things me and my dad used to do together was sit down with some of the guys from the regiment in the sealed knot and play Axis and Allies. What about you, Graham? How many prison camps do the Welsh need to construct to make England Wales again? It's going to be written MEWA on the hats. Make England Wales again. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, I don't think that's ever going to happen, or should it? To be honest with you, but it's again, I'm about a brotherhood of nations, not about the politically forced into for the oligarchs to control all 4 nations. So no, I'm not really into all of that. But getting back to your strategy.
It sounds like you're on the way to the camps right now. It sounds like you're booking yourself a train ticket on the Welsh on the Welsh genocide camp. Sorry about that, but this is the way it's going to be in the future. Basil Valentine, it's your specialist subject round. I'm going to ask you 18 general knowledge questions generated by honest and truthful AI, of course. You may send some outrageous BS, and you can earn extra points by setting the story straight, adding a truth bomb or 2 along the way, and I'll be the judge of what things are worth. But you've chosen, and you're the second person on this show to choose JFK as a specialty subject. So good luck. Here we go.
Thank you.
On what exact date did the assassination of JFK occur?
Good question. I'm going to go with November the 12th.
Ooh, November the 22nd, 1960.
No, that one really. Pretty basic.
Oh, yes. That's I always think it's 23rd. Anyway, what was the
Yeah,
name of the open top car JFK was riding in when he was shot?
the name of the car
Yes.
or the make of the car.
Yeah, the make of the
Oh, it was a
car. Well, you
Lincoln
could.
Continental.
I.
It was a Lincoln
Yeah, it
Continental.
is the Lincoln Continental. I like the fact that you were like the name of the car. Maybe he called it Bubsy or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It is also is it a conspiracy that the name of the car was also the same as an assassinated president? Who knows? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Basil,
Yeah.
how are you doing? We're in the
Okay.
middle of the
Pretty
game
good.
here.
Sorry, somebody just
The
came up.
people at home will be very angry with this. What was JFK's motorcade traveling to when he was assassinated?
Oh, it was a reception somewhere.
Mm.
It was a reception at a trade place, I think.
Oh, I'm going to give you a point for this. It was a luncheon at the Trade Mart. Of
There you
course, he
go.
wasn't able to attend in the
He
end.
never made it.
He did not make it. What was the name of the street where the motorcade was traveling when the shots were fired?
Oh, well, that's a nice easy one. Dealey Plaza.
Ah, no, the street it was on. Dealey
Ah,
Plaza is the central garden bit.
right. I think it was. Oh, I think it was something like Main Street, something pretty obvious like that.
Okay, the answer
No.
is Elm Street, which
Uh,
was well known as a nightmare to drive down. Get what I mean?
right. Oh dear,
What
dear, dear.
was the name? What was the name of the amateur filmmaker who captured the assassination on video?
Abraham Zapruder.
Yeah, indeed, of course. He had a pretty daughter who grew up and wasn't pretty anymore, just like us all. You remember adding a truth bomb at any time to make up points if you want to.
Well, people would wonder whether Zapruder knew that Kennedy was going to be assassinated, and that's why he was there filming it.
And there's also a
That's
supposedly a
speculation, of
certain.
course, but there's bound to be speculation we're talking
Yeah,
about.
there's a speculation that was that the car
Why was
actually
he?
stopped, and there was a
Oh,
lot of
well, that
editing that
definitely
happened.
happened. The car did stop. I mean, and there were frames removed from the version of the Zapruder film that has been released to the public.
Okay, I'll give you a truth bomb for that. You got to say truth bomb in the future straight afterwards, but I like it. I
Okay.
like the extra information.
Okay.
What is the term commonly used to describe the theory that a single bullet struck both JFK and Governor Connolly?
The magic bullet theory, and the fact that that is given any sort of credence at all is indicative of just how ludicrous the official narrative around the subject is, because it's just such.
Any? Do you want to add a truth bomb about the magic bullet at all? Anything you think appropriate?
Well, it was supposed to have been found, wasn't it, on the gurney at the hospital? Ridiculous stuff. Absolutely,
Yeah.
somebody placed a bullet, unmolested bullet, on the side of the gurney that Kennedy was on.
Okay, excellent. I'll give you a truth bomb point for that as well. It's true that there was it was an unspoilt bullet that went through them a billion times.
That's right.
However much.
Just so ridiculous that it just.
Yeah, indeed. Really silly. How many members were on the Warren Commission?
That was a good question. A very esoteric question, I might add.
No, well, go with an esoteric answer. Let that be a clue to you.
Okay, I'll go with 7.
7? Yes, it is. Indeed, and the desks were shaped into a pentagram, methinks. Can't be sure, but I'm willing to hazard a guess that was so. But yes, indeed. If you want to add in anything about Earl Warren or anybody else?
Well, only that Gerald Ford, of course, was on the Warren Commission. Bizarrely, ended up president of the United States, and people say that was his reward for having gone along with the nonsense.
Does look a little bit like it. I'll give you an extra point for that. What was the name of Oswald's wife?
Marina.
Marina Oswald, indeed. I would have also accepted Po-Face McGee because she was always looking a little bit sad. But yeah, Marina Oswald, you get a point for that.
Po-Face McGee.
What caliber was the rifle used in the assassination?
I think it was something like a 303, Mannlicher. But I mean, that wasn't what was used. What you mean is, obviously, the AI answer is that that's what was used. That it was, the idiotic stuff about Oswald having killed him, which we all know wasn't the case. But the official version is that it was a Mannlicher Arcancano or whatever it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a 6.5 millimeter I was looking for.
Right.
Corey Hughes set up straight as well that it was actually just a Carcano, and the Mannlicher was a mistake that they added in to the narrative as well. So that's an interesting one about it. What was the name of the hospital where JFK was pronounced dead?
Dallas General.
No, Parkland Memorial Hospital.
Oh, I should. I mean, I know that. I'm sorry. That's really bad.
That's the way it works. It's hard to access them. It was busy that day as well in Parkland, I'm sure. Who succeeded JFK as President of the United States after his death?
Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Any truth bombs to add about Lyndon Baines Johnson?
Well, he only got on the ticket as a result of strong-arming Kennedy into accepting him. Kennedy's original pick for vice president was somebody completely different, but he was forced to have Johnson on the ticket. Johnson had been the Senate leader for the Democrats, and that was, people say, when the plot was hatched, really. As soon as Johnson was on the ticket as a VP, then Kennedy signed his own death warrant.
Yep. I'll give you an extra point for that as well. Got a correct answer. I'll give you an extra point. That's true. What was the name of the judge? This is a hard one. What was the name of the judge who administered the oath of office to Lyndon B. Johnson?
No, that one I haven't got. On the plane. Yes. It was on the plane, wasn't it?
Yes, her name was Sarah T. Hughes. There's a hard one. There's hard ones in this. Is specialty subject. There's a few hard ones in it. What was the Secret Service code name for JFK? Another difficult one.
It's not there at the moment.
No, Lancer is what they say.
That's right, yeah.
The Lancer of boils. Unfortunately, those boils spew pus. What was the name of congressional committee that reinvestigated the assassinations in the late 1970s?
The Church Committee.
Oh no!
The House Committee on Assassinations. It was just called the House Committee on Assassinations.
I will give you that. House Select Committee on Assassinations. Yeah. There you go. Do you have any truth bombs?
I can tell you what their conclusion was.
Well, truth bomb it and tell us what.
Truth bomb, yeah. Their conclusion was that Kennedy was probably killed as a result of a conspiracy. That word "probably" in there. But that is the most recent investigation of the crime by any branch of the US government. And they determined that he was probably killed by a conspiracy. Worth remembering, too, the number of people, because it was only about 15 years after the assassination, the number of witnesses that died in mysterious circumstances just before they were due to give testimony. Everybody from Dorothy Kilgallen to Sam Giancana, the Chicago mob boss, who was gunned down in his kitchen the day before he was due to testify.
A very convenient day. I give you one for the getting it right and one for the truth bomb. The next question you've already kind of answered. What controversial conclusion did the House Select Committee on Assassinations reach that differed from the Warren Commission?
Well, that was essentially it. I've said it. Yeah, that they didn't buy the lone gunman nonsense in its entirety.
Yeah. Probably a result of a conspiracy. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah. Everybody knows. Indeed. Okay. 3 more questions left. Where was Oswald arrested after the assassination?
in a cinema.
Yes, okay. Yeah, he was found watching The Matrix in a 3D cinema, of course. Do you know what the theater was called for an extra point?
Not at this point, no.
Yeah, I think it was called the Texas Theater, but South. What was the name of the CIA director fired by JFK, who some conspiracy theories link to the assassination?
Alan Dulles.
Oh, yes. For an extra point, can you tell me what friends of Alan Dulles found him covered in near the end of his life?
Friends of Alan Dulles found him covered in this substance. Was it the result of some sexual peccadillo, Johnny?
It was right at the end. No, he was demented, and at the end of his life, his wife stuck him in a room, locked the door, barely checked on him, barely fed him, and they found him covered in his own feces. He had
I was going to
smeared
say
all
that,
over
but I didn't want
himself.
to. I was going to say that.
Well, unfortunately, you missed out on a point
say it
there.
before the time. Got to say it in time.
Yeah, you've got to say truth bomb smeared shit all over himself. That's the type of thing you got to say.
Yeah, what a way to go. Couldn't have happened to a nicer fellow.
Yeah, exactly. What was the flight number of the plane that carried JFK's body back to Washington, D.C.?
No, that's gone, I'm afraid. Don't know that one.
You don't want to guess on a plane that might carry a president's body?
Well, Air Force One, but not
Okay, then I'll give you the point.
Oh, well.
Technically is SAM 26000, but of course that is the name of the presidential plane, Lolita Express Mark 1. Graham H. Moore, I'm going to ask you 18 general knowledge questions on your specialty subject of English common and constitutional rights. Of course, you may sense outrageous BS, and you can earn extra points by setting the story straight or adding a truth bomb or two along the way. Are you ready?
I am indeed. I'm always ready. I'm English.
Right. English common and constitutional rights. What document signed in 1215 is considered a cornerstone of English constitutional rights?
Oh, that's an hard one. I would say the Magna Carta, but it's actually the truth bomb is the Great Charter.
Oh, there you go. Okay. It is true. Magna Carta is what they say the answer is, but you have truth bombed it. Go on, explain a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, just to make sure it wasn't signed, it was sealed. And there is a difference.
Okay, there is a difference. Okay, I'll give you an extra point for that. That's good. Signed, sealed, delivered. Magna Carta, as the song goes. Which clause of the Magna Carta guaranteed the right to fair trial by one's peers?
39, I think it was.
Oh, look at you. Clause 39. Not to be mixed up with clause 69, of course. Though, you know, some do. Do you want to add anything in on there?
The important, so the truth bomb of this is when it talks about juries or peers, etc. You must remember that the jury system that we've got now didn't come until about 160 years later. So some of the ways in which they dealt with juries then, and by the way, women on juries didn't come in England until 1919.
There you go, and that was probably a bad idea when it did come. Anyway, so there you go. You get one and one for the truth bomb. What English legal tradition evolved from judges' decisions rather than written statutes?
Stare decisis.
What English legal tradition? It's a very basic phrase I'm looking for.
Precedent.
Common law.
Common laws, yeah. Well,
Just
that is
common
so. The common law is precedent. Stare decisis.
Oh, well, I'm not going to give you the point though, because that's what I wanted as an answer.
But this is AI who don't really understand.
AI is a bunch of
anything.
dirty, rotten bastards. It's true. What 1689 document established key constitutional rights after the Glorious Revolution?
English Bill of Rights.
Indeed, correct. Everyone knows a Welsh Bill of Rights is, of course, a name for a Welshman named William who fixes wonky table legs. No.
Okay. Do you want a truth bomb with that as well?
Go on, do it. Go for it.
There were 13 wrongs that were set right by 13 rights. And what people don't understand is if they read the history of it, they understand how it all comes together. And many of these people who only talk about the Magna Carta don't understand that the common law is a continuous thing. It can only add to your rights. It can't take it away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Excellent. You'll get an extra point for that. I like it. What right did the English Bill of Rights grant to subjects to petition the monarch?
It granted you the right to petition the monarch, and all commitments and prosecutions against you are illegal.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's correct. What was that second part you said? Past right to petition. You said is go on.
It was illegal to use commitments or prosecutions against you for petitioning the monarch.
Oh, that's an excellent extra point you can have there. We also know that the P in P Diddy also stands for petition. Petition Diddy.
Do you want a truth bomb on this?
Yeah, go on.
The truth bomb on this was I was arrested outside Buckingham Palace for petitioning the monarch. And when it went into the number one court in Westminster Magistrates, the judge asked me, what do you rely on in your defence? And I said, the English Bill of Rights and the Coronation Oath Act. And 30 police officers decided not to make any statements against me or produce their videos, and I was released completely with costs.
Ooh, nice. You get an extra point just for being released with costs. What legal writ rooted in English common law protects against unlawful detention?
Habeas corpus.
Yeah, habeas corpus indeed. My mum used to shout in the living room, habeas corpus, habeas corpus. No, she didn't. What 1628 document, petition of rights, asserted rights against arbitrary what? Or the 1628 document, petition of rights, asserted rights against arbitrary what?
Detention.
And there's two parts to it.
Arbitrary detention and I believe seizure. Seizure of goods, seizure of chattels.
I'll give you one point, but the answer is taxation and imprisonment. Arbitrary taxation.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a point for the imprisonment, though. Taxation imprisonment, which is also one of the signs of a successful marriage too. Who presented the petition of right to King Charles I? Didn't end well for him. Didn't end well for Charles. Get a petition of right.
That's on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it. Who petitioned it? The petition of right.
He was an infamous inventor of a famous brand of soft drink.
Oh.
You want to know?
No, go on.
It's the Edward Coke.
Oh,
he didn't really know his
that is a killer. I will never ever I'll never hear the last of it. So
yeah. Right, that's the problem with these. That's the problem. He didn't invent Coca-Cola. Everyone knows he invented cocaine. Yeah. What and English
or is it Coke?
Coke. Well, it depends which side of the English language you're on, really.
Yeah. Go on.
What English philosopher influenced constitutional rights with his ideas of natural rights and government by consent?
Right, say that again.
What English philosopher influenced constitutional rights with his ideas of natural rights and government by consent?
John Locke.
Yes, John Locke, indeed. He had a good, strong name as well, John. He had a very good and strong surname too, Locke. Which article of the European Convention on Human Rights guarantees the right to a fair trial?
The answer to that is there is none, because they are what's known as qualifiable rights.
You remember, I'm looking for AI's answer first, and then any truth bomb afterwards.
Article 6.
Correct. Excellent. Now give a truth bomb.
Well, the truth bomb is that the European Convention on Human Rights are what's known as qualifiable rights. And that means that if there is some form of national emergency, those rights can be removed. And if the government itself is the one creating the emergency, you have no rights. So that is completely the opposite to the English Convention rights, which is the Bill of Rights, which are inalienable.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, you get extra point there. Like it. Don't take them off me. Don't take them off me, Governor. What medieval assembly evolved into the English Parliament securing constitutional rights?
The Convention Parliament.
You're going to kick yourself on this one.
Well, it's a council. Yeah, but carry on. Go on.
The Great Council.
The Great Council. Right.
What 1701 Act established judicial independence in England?
The Act of Settlement 1700-1701.
Yes, excellent. Perfect. That is correct. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but...
Well, again, the Act of Settlement... The problem with the Act of Settlement, and its current, because it's mainly being ignored, is there are no English members of Parliament. They're all British. So what's happened now is the impeachment process for a judge called perjuring his oath is by the English Parliament, and technically there is no English Parliament, and that's why we've got the mess we're in now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Truth bomb on top. So Act of Settlement and a truth bomb on top. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions left. What right protected by the English Bill of Rights limits the monarch's ability to suspend laws?
Article 1, so there's actually 2 that are associated with each other, but Article 1 is pretended laws, and Article 2 is associated with it. So basically, what the monarch can't do is just make up the law as he goes along.
Do you know what the name of any of these acts are, or what the name of the specific limit?
Probably. Say the question again, see if I can...
What right, protected by English Bill of Rights, limits the monarch's ability to suspend laws?
So the first right is you cannot have a pretended law.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to give you this. This is parliamentary supremacy is what I was looking for.
Okay, right. So let me just... This is a truth bomb, right?
Here we go.
Parliament is not sovereign. So that's an typical AI answer that it's dragging off the internet, where academia have misinstructed the lawyers, judges, etc. If they read history, that's not correct. Right, so parliamentary sovereignty isn't correct. It is the primary legislator, but in effect, the Crown could make a law tomorrow. Right, it could make a decree, but it would be debated by Parliament. If they didn't want it, they could veto it, and the monarchy could veto it. It's the same as in America, because what we did was passed English law, or in the English governance system, to America. And that's why you get executive orders from the president in America, because instead of them having a king, they've got a president.
Excellent. Okay, I'll give you 1 for the truth bomb, but you didn't get the question right. So get 1 for the truth bomb. What document drafted during the English Civil War proposed democratic reform like universal suffrage?
The English Bill of Rights.
No, Agreement of the People.
Oh, right, okay.
What English court established under common law historically dealt with equity and fairness?
Say that again?
What English court established under common law historically dealt with equity and fairness?
Chancery Court.
Yes, Court of Chancery. Quite right. What term describes the English tradition of resolving disputes through local customs before statutes? What term describes the English tradition of resolving disputes through local customs before statutes?
Oh.
Yeah, this is kind of in the question.
Common law.
Customary law.
Customary law.
What? Yeah,
yeah, but the thing is, customary law is part of common law. Common law is customary law.
Indeed. What 1911 Act reduced the power of the House of Lords, strengthening constitutional democracy?
Parliament Act 1911,
yeah,
which actually took lots of out truth bomb. It caused us more problems. There were a number of issues with it, and the biggest issue, and there was debates at the time, they warned us what would happen. The Parliament Act of 1911 was when we started paying MPs, and by doing so, we created a political class, and they warned us that was going to happen.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, you get an extra point for that, and you were right about the answer. One last question. What right protects English citizens from being tried twice for the same offence?
Oh, double jeopardy.
Yeah, double jeopardy protection. Any truth bombs on that?
Yeah, big truth bomb.
Look like it by that hand signal.
let me tell you something now. The most disgusting thing that I've ever seen was what happened in Eltham in southeast London, when and it's on the tip of my tongue what his name was. The black fellow who got killed in Eltham. Stephen Lawrence, right? No, I am absolutely not saying that any of that was good, right? But what I am saying is a terrible thing happened, and that is that our right not to be tried twice was actually thrown and cast out of the window because of corruption of police and corruption of that area at the time, and it affects everyone. And because of that Stephen Lawrence trial, where they retried them people, they changed the law because of that. And again, it was completely wrong what they did. End of. There's no ifs or buts with it.
Yeah, excellent. There's an extra point in there. And do you want to give one more? Just a roundup about like something we don't know at home about English common and constitutional rights, misconceptions as a final truth bomb.
The final truth bomb is that the English Bill of Rights 3 times says forever and once in all time to come. What the people are told is that A.V. Dicey stated that Parliament is sovereign. What you're not told, there was a second book that he wrote where he reversed that decision and stated that if there are phrases, for example, in perpetuity or forever or all time coming, that is a particular constitutional statute and set of rights that can never be changed. And again, that means, and people need to understand this, Parliament is not sovereign, and it cannot legislate against your rights.
Okay, excellent. I'll give you an extra point for that. Of course, I will. Good round for you, Graham. Good round. And on the specialist subject round, Basil scored 13 points, had 5 truth bombs, no extras, no corruption points, so scored 18 in total. Graham, his specialist subject round, scored 14, 9 truth bombs, 1 extra point, so he scored 24 after 2 rounds. Graham is on 55, Basil is on 56, or after 3 rounds, sorry. Graham is on 55, Basil is 46, and there's an extra point in there, wasn't there? So Graham gets an extra one. He's on 56 in actual fact. There you go. Basil, how do you think your specialist subject round went?
Not very well. Didn't go that well, but there we are.
Well, you still kept up fairly close. Got a large American audience. What do you think American audience would make of you, Basil? Do you think they think you're very British?
I should have known Lancer. I should have known his code name, Lancer.
Yeah, well, some of these things, and the fact is, you'll remember it forever now, and so will
Parkland Hospital. These are softballs,
basics,
really.
Got to keep your eye on the ball in this. You've been commentating on both mainstream and fringe political issues for a while now. What subjects do you enjoy diving into the most then?
Good question. The Middle East to some extent, though I don't really enjoy it. It's our duty to keep the focus there because of the extraordinary suffering, particularly of the Palestinian people. Of course, people forget this. 10 children every day had a limb amputated without anesthetic during the genocide. And corporate media wants to brush that under the carpet. It's and also, of course, here in the UK, I'm sure my colleague would agree with me, my competitor. We're seeing very, very serious infringements of civil liberties in order to protect the Israeli state, as the only way of putting it, really. Numerous journalists have been arrested, roughed up, their electronics taken away, and on the streets as well. It was an extraordinary scene in Parliament Square, I think it was a day or two ago, where a police officer was caught on film saying, if you're supporting Israel, you can demonstrate, but not if you're supporting Palestine. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did.
And the media, that chap that climbed Big Ben in order to wave a Palestinian flag, there was an item about him on the BBC which made no mention at all, none, of why he was up there. And the news item was solely concerned with the specious story of MP safety. So the fact that somebody can scale the Palace of Westminster barefoot in order to draw attention to one of the biggest global issues of our time, and its cause isn't mentioned at all. Rather, it's this nonsense again about MP safety. I don't need to tell you, Johnny. It's very depressing, really, isn't it? So I do keep my focus there on our civil liberties and how they relate to foreign entities. Likewise, we've got this ludicrous press for war, and I did economics at school and at Cambridge, and it is well known that spending on military equipment has the least knock-on benefits for the rest of the economy, because basically you spend large sums of money on often American hardware, or even if it's British, the multiplier effect of stimulating demand for goods and services is next to nothing. It's something like 0.07% or something if you spend on the military, yet somehow it's now being reinvented as an engine of growth. You know that
Unbelievable.
this is really, really
It's
sinister
third wave
stuff.
centrism. I see that as third wave centrism. What do you think the establishment AI would say about you? I
think
think
they
I'm
might.
gonna get. I ask everybody this. I think it's a really good question. What do you think?
I've looked myself up. Other than, of course, the my namesake, the 15th century monk from Erfurt, who wrote two of the most celebrated treatises on alchemy, namely the 12 Keys of Philosophy and the Triumphal Chariot of Antimony. AI has something to say about him, but not much
Yeah.
about me, Johnny.
Graham, how are you with Cockney rhyming slang then?
If it's real Cockney rhyming, Sam, I'm
What?
pretty
So
much all right with it.
if I put my Daisy Roots on Basil's boat race, will he shoot Tom Tit out of his Khyber Pass, leaving a pen and ink all over his lion's lair?
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
But I'd give him a gold watch and say to him, listen, just don't fall down the apples and pears.
There you go. You want to see Welsh independence like I do, is that true?
Absolutely. I believe in self-determination as the absolute key to solving all of these problems. And I love Wales and the Welsh people. There are problems within Wales or Welsh politics, right? But it is being controlled by the globalists.
Indeed. You're right there. Now, question though, what are you going to do when the Welsh are independent and we annex Lord Hereford's knob?
You mean Monmouthshire?
Yeah, all of it. No, Hereford. There's a nice little hill up old Lord Hereford's knob. We take it back from you.
Well, the answer to that is when a Brotherhood of Nations. So my belief is this. This is my strong belief. I believe instead of spending money, we should have weapons for defence. Don't get me wrong, right? I absolutely believe in the right to keep and bear arms. But instead of spending all this money on pharmaceuticals and making people ill and doing all this other stuff, right? You get your best communicators and you pay them millions of pounds a year. So the best negotiators, the best talkers, the best thinkers, and you say, listen, you can have £1 million a year and you talk to the Welsh and the Welsh do the same thing and you'll get a communication like you've never had before, right? That's the way you solve the problem. Again, you've got to go back through history and understand it's not us, the ones who are living now, but you must respect history. So that I would deal with it with dialogue. I mean, the only greatest benefit that the English have got in version of the Welsh is that we don't have to wear wellies and we're not shagging sheep. That's it.
Yes, a lie. You're all shagging sheep. You're just blaming it on the Welsh. You're the ones who come into our country and shag our sheep and then blame us for it. Honestly, if you want to know who's running the sheep shagging industry, it's not the Jews. That's all I'm saying. What do you think establishment AI would say about your work then?
Establishment AI would say that I am an English nationalist, which technically I'm not. I'm an English constitutionalist, and there is a difference. I believe in the rule of law, but AI would call me far right, mainly because of these other groups of people. They draw their information from the internet. A lot of it is copyrighted material from other sites. So all of the lies that have been told about me via all these other sites is then drawn into AI to produce, or they can simply make it up if they don't like what you are.
Oh, they bloody will make it up, I tell you. They bloody will.
Yeah. One truth bomb that people don't understand.
I love it. Go on, get one truth bomb that people don't understand.
And this is a truth bomb that relates to Israel, right? And a certain person is not here to defend himself, reference initials TR, actually said that if you don't support Israel, you're a jihadist, right? I don't support Israel. I am not a jihadist. I can assure people of that, right? And one thing I will say to you is avoiding the acts of union actually voids Israel, right? And that is the reason why they will not speak about voiding the Acts of Union. And let me tell you the reason why. When you void the Acts of Union, anything done under the authority of the British Parliament, right, is also void from the time it was actually initiated in 1707. What does that mean? It means the Balfour Agreement is made void. It means the Palestinian Mandate of 1923 is made void. It means the partition of the Levant, in other words, that area called Palestine, is made void. And then people of the United Nations can deal with what they call Israel.
Nice. I like it. Like three stinky anarchists screaming about anti-constitutionalism, Basil, Graham and I are always just one step from shouting Allahu Akbar and bursting into flames. But are we able to recognize friends of Zionist Teletubbies? Well, we enter the quick fire picture round this week, which is called Talmud Tubbies Say Uh-oh. You're going to see an array of Zionist Teletubbies, which I refer to as Talmud Tubbies, fawning over a famous Zionist or Zion-ho. First one to exclaim truth bomb gets a chance to answer. So this is quick fire round. You've got to be on the ball. If you're wrong, then it gets handed over to your opponent with an extra truth bomb point if they get it right. So please, gentlemen, pay close attention. First one to recognize a friend of these Talmud Tubbies. Here we go.
Bill Gates, truth bomb Bill Gates.
Ah, there you go. Basil Valentine. He gets it out eventually. It is true. The Talmud Tubbies are all having a little hug of Bill Gates here. Okay, next one. Get ready. Get ready. Hope you're all ready. Who's this friend of the Talmud Tubbies?
Benjamin Netanyahu, truth bomb.
You got to say truth bomb first.
Truth bomb Benjamin Netanyahu. There we are.
Yes, indeed, it is. It is. You can add a truth bomb if you want.
Milikovsky. His real surname is Milikovsky.
Yes, it is. His real surname is Milikovsky, indeed. That's a good one. I'll give you an extra point there. Here we go.
Truth bomb Keir Starmer.
Oh, who got there first?
Well, I did. Comfortably.
Oh, Basil Valentine claims victory. Go on. Who is it, Basil?
Keir Starmer.
Yes, indeed.
I never give him the sir. I never do him. I never say sir. You know.
No. Good. The moment.
Do you want an extra truth bomb with him?
Yeah, go on. Or you can only have a truth bomb in this round that earns points if you get it right. So.
Oh, okay.
But you can still give a truth bomb.
So the truth bomb is that he was named after Keir Hardie, and Keir Hardie, obviously one of the founding members of Parliament for the Labour Party and the Fabian Society, which is really crucial to this. That guy is an executive member of the Fabian Society, and Keir Hardie was ardently against immigration. In fact, Keir Hardie actually said the Scots is for the Scottish and they should be made to remain here and the immigrants should be kept out. And he said a lot of really bad things about immigrants. Yeah, Keir Hardie did.
That's good. You won't get a truth bomb point for it, but I like it because you have to right fingers on buzzers. Get ready to say truth bomb once you see the face.
Truth bomb Trump.
Which one?
Oh, I forget his first
name. That's right. It is, yeah. Truth bomb Donald Trump Jr.
Wait. In fact, Graham has already got in there with the truth bomb, so he's already saying it, and you've just said his name over the top. Who is it, Graham?
Yes, it is Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm not sure of the other faces.
He just plugged. That's AI. The AI's just putting another guy just coming up from the bottom. He's just rising. Has not been asked for. So there you go.
But again, remember that the Trump family is married into the Kushner family. A lineage going back to through the Jewish line.
Yep.
So I'll do that is the truth. But the truth bomb here is they are very much aligned with Israel.
Okay, well, I'll give you a point just for saying that. We all like a little bit of saying that Trump is definitely, and all of his guys are definitely aligned with Israel. Right, fingers on buzzers. Get ready. Who is this next Talmud tubby?
Oh.
I'll say truth bomb if you want to go. Have a guess.
Truth bomb Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No.
No.
I can see how you can get that.
Truth bomb Pam Bondi.
No, but you can't keep saying you've got it wrong now. You get one. You get one.
You get one go. You get one bullet.
Well, and then it gets handed over. Graham, I take it you don't know this one, no?
No.
J.K. Rowling.
Oh God, yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Fingers on triggers, gentlemen. Here you go. The next Talmud tubby. Come on, this is your era of music, I'm sure.
Truth bomb
The
Ariana
manager.
Grande.
Oh, Basil Valentine comes in, scores a point there. Ariana Grande, whose manager is Scooter Braun. Can you tell me anything about Ariana Grande for a truth bomb?
Well, it was at her concert that there was that bombing in Manchester, but
indeed, that's a good point.
Questions around that event. I'm not sure that was all exactly as it was presented to us via the corporate media.
And do you know who's done the most work on that in the independent media?
No, tell me. You.
Richard D. Hall, who's actually been in and out of court defending himself for having the right to question it.
He's got in a lot of hot water, poor man.
Yeah, well, good stuff. He's paving the way for justice. That's the way it works.
Sure is.
President. Okay, so next one, we got two left. Get ready to say truth bomb. I'll wait for Graham to not have a mouthful of liquid beforehand. But here we go. Who is this Talmud tubby friend?
Oh, truth bomb Piers Morgan.
It is indeed, and AI are giving him sinisterly wonky eyes. He's watching his back there as well. Indeed. Okay, that's good. And last one. Get ready. Say truth bomb.
Truth bomb Hillary Clinton.
Yes, Basil Valentine. Have you got any a truth bomb about Hillary Clinton herself?
Where to begin? You know, the Clinton body count.
Yeah, it's a good place to begin. You go with anything you want, my friend.
You know what I mean? You can go with that exactly. Yes.
Be careful what you say.
Indeed.
I'll be joining them. Yeah.
Indeed. That's a good round. You are quite
finished
correct.
Now. Finished as a politician. It's over.
It's over. Well, let's hope. I'm not sure
Indeed.
That's true. And after the Talmud Tubbies round, Basil scored 5 points and got two truth bombs, so scored 7. Graham got 2 points, 1 truth bomb, scoring 3. Was a little bit behind in that round. So Basil is catching up. And here we go. Let's go over to our next round. For our next picture round, we're playing Jailbirds of a Feather. I asked AI to calculate how much time 2 infamous rogues have spent in prison. It's up to our contestants to guess who served more time behind bars. We will alternate who goes first. You can only add truth bomb to get points if you answer right, and you can both guess the same answer. First up is Graham. Graham H. Moore, my friend. I asked honest and truthful AI, who served more time behind bars, Mr. Super Gay himself, Oscar Wilde, or Iron Mike Tyson?
I would say Mike Tyson.
Okay, you're going to say Mike Tyson. Over to you, Basil. What's your guess? Remember, you could guess the same or different. It doesn't matter.
I'll go Oscar Wilde. Make it interesting.
Okay. Well, Wilde's time in jail was just under 2 years, roughly 723 days, while Tyson was just under 3 years, roughly 1,095. So therefore, Mike Tyson spent more time in jail than Oscar Wilde. So that's a point there to Graham. Over to you now to choose first, Basil. I asked Honest and Truthful AI, who served more time behind bars? Everyone's favorite Führer, Herr Hitler, or the hapless romantic Big Bad Bonaparte? There you go. They just popped up on screen. My computer's being a bit slow there.
I'll go with Napoleon.
You'll go with Napoleon, okay?
Yeah.
What do you think, Graham?
Yeah, definitely Napoleon, because he was actually held in captivity twice. And as a truth bomb, it is often said that his penis was removed because Josephine wanted it. I heard at a seminar on a conference of truth tellers that the reason why they cut his cock off was because he was a Muslim and that the British didn't want him getting access to the 72 virgins.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that is one hell of a... I'll give you an extra point for that one, indeed.
That is, yeah.
But it is true. You are correct. Napoleon spent more time in captivity, 2,000 days, over 2,000 days, compared to Hitler's 297 days, which was a breeze. I asked Honest and Truthful AI, who spent more time behind bars? Native South African freedom terrorist Nelson Mandela or Native American legend Leonard Peltier?
Oh, Peltier.
This is over to Graham. Graham, just go first.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, I'll go with my original, which is Nelson Mandela.
Okay, and Basil, you're going to go with Peltier?
Yes, I think a lot longer. I think he's been in.
You are quite right, a lot longer. Peltier, roughly 49 years and 8 months in time in prison, served that much, where Mandela was 27 years, but which is exceeds Mandela's by 27 years, by 22 years. I asked Honest and Truthful AI, who served more time behind bars, the Man in Black, Johnny Cash, or jailhouse rocker Elvis Presley? Basil, who do you choose?
I went for Johnny Cash.
And Graham?
I'm going for Elvis Presley.
Okay, in total, Johnny Cash's cumulative time in jail spanning multiple overnight stays far exceeds Elvis Presley's single 1 hour long detention. So Cash is definitely the right answer. Basil, you get that there. I asked Honest and Truthful AI, who served more time behind bars? Liquor running gangster Al Capone or on the run wife killer O.J. Simpson? This is Graham.
Al Capone.
You think
I'll go Capone as well.
Yeah,
OJ
okay.
Served much time.
You're both wrong on that. O.J. Simpson served 8 years, 9 months compared to Al Capone 7 years, 6 months, released for good behavior with syphilis and was never returned to being the same as before. I asked Honest and Truthful AI, who served more time behind bars? Black pioneer Malcolm X or black baby oil enthusiast P. Diddy? Basil, which one? Is it P. Diddy or Malcolm X?
Well, P. Diddy's still there, of course. He's got a long way to go. But I'll go with Malcolm X.
And you, Graham, what do you think?
I'll go with Malcolm X.
Okay, you're quite right. Both of you. P. Diddy's only done about 231 days in jail. Malcolm X served 6 years, 7 months, about 5 years before he got
absolutely shocking.
Completely shocking.
Very quick truth bomb about prison and the difference between the oligarch or corporatist or whatever you want to describe them as and working class people. Ernest Saunders was released from a prison sentence of, I believe it was 5 years, it might have been 7 years, after 6 months, where he was kept in an open prison and declared, or his doctors, so-called professionals, declared that he had Alzheimer's. Within 6 months of him being released, he was back on another board of directors and carrying on his business. He miraculously recovered from Alzheimer's, right? That shows you how corrupt the British system is, and the difference in the way they treat working class people and the way they treat their own.
I definitely give you an extra truth bomb point for that. Why not? After Jailbirds of a Feather, Graham has scored 3 points in that round and 1 truth bomb. Basil scored 4 points. After 5 rounds, Graham has 64 in total, and Basil has 57. So there's all to play for as we enter the quick fire round. So Basil, have you always been a fan of baby lotion, or are you a racist? If you had gone to a P. Diddy mansion, do you think you'd still be slippery to this very day? You don't have to answer that, Graham. You can. Who do you think would win in a mud wrestle to the death? Bikini-clad Hitler or OnlyFans furry Al Capone?
Furry Al Capone.
Excellent. There you go, gents. We've almost come to the end of the show. Everything could change in the quick fire round and with the final truth bombs. In the break, I asked these 2 fine specimens of mankind to show me their toes and discovered Graham has web feet and 11 toes, so Basil would be the one to go first on this occasion. Basil Valentine, you have 90 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. If you don't know the answer, just say pass. The round is over when you hear this sound.
That we penetrate the cabinets.
Are you ready to rumble?
Yep.
What notorious gangster was gunned down in Chicago on Valentine's Day 1929?
Bugsy Siegel.
Ooh, Bugs Moran.
Okay.
What secret society is often linked to conspiracy theories about controlling the world events?
The Illuminati.
Yeah. What ancient text filled with undeciphered texts and odd drawings baffled scholars at Yale?
The Mappa Mundi.
No, the Voynich manuscript. What serial killer terrorized London's Whitechapel in 1888
Jack the Ripper.
and was never... Yes. What rapper faced racketeering and sex trafficking charges in New York in 2024?
P. Diddy.
Yes. What mysterious structure in Georgia offers cryptic rules for humanity's future and later
Georgia
got destroyed?
Guidestones, although I've got a feeling somebody smashed them up.
Yes. What war on terror operation killed bin Laden in Pakistan in 2011?
Well, he died years before that, so I don't want to give. I don't want to.
You're just looking for the operation that supposedly killed him. Quick fire round.
I don't remember the name of it.
That was Operation Neptune Spear. What infamous conman ran a Ponzi scheme costing investors billions in 2008?
What's his
That we penetrate the cabinets.
name?
You can still answer.
Bernie Madoff. Bernie
Madoff, indeed. Excellent. Perfect.
Bernie Madoff with all the money.
Graham H. Moore, you have 90 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. If you don't know the answers, just say pass. The round is over when you hear this sound.
That we penetrate the cabinets.
Are you ready to rumble?
Yes.
What 1959 incident saw 9 skiers die mysteriously in Russia's Ural Mountains?
Pass.
Dyatlov Pass incident. What occult symbol, a 5-pointed star, is tied to both magic and controversy?
Star of David.
No, the pentagram. What terrorist group claimed the 2015 Paris attacks, killing 130 people?
Don't know, jihadists.
No, Islamic State. What unsolved 1971 hijacking saw a man parachute from a plane with $200,000?
Oh, pass.
DB Cooper. What modern controversy erupted over COVID-19 vaccine mandates?
Complete conspiracy.
Yeah, anti-vax movement. What secret US program revealed by Edward Snowden spied on citizens?
Say that again.
What secret US program revealed by Edward Snowden spied on citizens?
I can't remember the name of it. Pass.
PRISM. What 2004 prison scandal tarnished the US war on terror?
The machine gunning in Afghanistan.
Abu Ghraib. What ancient order linked to the Holy Grail fuels conspiracy tales?
That we penetrate the cabinets.
Don't know.
What ancient order linked to the Holy Grail fuels conspiracy tales?
I would say.
You'll kick yourself.
Templar.
Yeah, Knights Templar indeed. In the quick fire round, Basil scored 5 points, Graham scored 1 point, and after all rounds at the end of Truth Bomb, this episode, just before the final truth, of course, which is worth 3 points, Graham scored 65, Basil scored 62. As always, in Truth Bomb, there is one chance to drop one final big bad truth bomb in return for 3 points. And so I'm going to ask each of the contestants, starting with the person who's behind, that's you, Basil, to give me a good truth bomb about anything that breaks the establishment narrative and allows me a little bit of insight. So let's start off. Basil, your final truth bomb is better be good. It's for 3 points. This is to draw up the match and head to a tiebreaker.
Darwinian evolution, the idea that human beings are descended from monkeys, and before that, I assume fish, or as a result of random genetic mutations, which somehow led innumerable creatures to adapt, is total 100% garbage. Nonsense. Didn't happen. A monkey can no more become a man than a man become a tree. Now, people say, well, therefore, what do you propose? At this point, I'm not required to propose anything else. But what I will say is that the idea that human beings are descended from apes is nonsense. In fact, there have been people like us, human beings, Homo sapiens, around on surface Earth for millions of years.
Oh, that is a truth bomb. Let's see what Graham brings in return. A very controversial truth bomb there from Basil. What would you say, Graham, if you wanted to win 3 points? What's something that you think people should know as the final truth bomb?
The current King of England, King Charles III, or Turd, as some people call him, or even Sausage Fingers, has perjured his oath numerous times as the Prince and the King. You can go to the House of Lords and see this buried in their material under a committee, a constitutional committee. He has perjured his oath. He has not protected the Protestant religion, and in effect has abdicated. And that is a truth that is buried in Hansard.
There you go, gentlemen. We come down to the end of the show. And I have to say, at the end there, we already know what the points were. The points as it stood with 65 to Graham, Basil 62. I have to say, I'm going to, and so is the guy behind the scenes, going to give it to Graham, the final truth bomb. So he wins outright. There's going to be no tiebreaker today. He gets 68 points to Basil 62. I have to say, both of you, those are the highest scores we've seen so far. James Delingpole was the next highest. He got 61, so one below you, Basil. So you did well today. How did you find it, gentlemen? Basil, how did you find the experience?
Yeah, good fun once we got going. I'll come back another time if you like.
Yeah, and you're up there on the high scoreboard now. So there you go. Well, Graham, did you enjoy yourself?
I thought, to be fair, it was much more pleasant than I thought it was going to be, and it doesn't matter how much knowledge you've got. When you're under pressure in whether it's a funny pressure or whether, whatever situation it is, to think and hit all the points is really difficult. And people, I'm used to doing lives. I only do lives, but when you've got questions coming like that, which is one of the reasons that our seminars, I love the questions and answers, because you actually test yourself in your own knowledge when you're talking to people. So yeah, it was good. I actually enjoyed it.
Excellent. I agree with you. It's an interesting, and I notice you also got easily distracted by the word wank, which was a surprise. On that note, gentlemen, thank you for being involved in Truth Bomb. Hello. Thank you for watching that show. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate having your time and your attention just for a little bit. To make content like this, I need your help. I am constantly working hard to produce live shows, podcasts, truth bombs, and long-form investigative articles which expose a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. Continue doing that. I need your support. You can either support me via Patreon by becoming a patron, where you'll get shows like Truth Bomb early. You could support me by dropping me something on Buy Me a Coffee or on Ko-Fi, and I really do appreciate your support. Go to newspaste.com for more, and thank you again.
Young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets.